you seen Sarah's confidence grow over this offseason, and what do you see her role kind of looking like this year?
Well, Sarah has been phenomenal. She's in the best shape she's ever been in her life, from a fitness standpoint, from a strength standpoint. Got to knock on wood. She's been shooting the ball very, very well for us inside of practice right now. I think her goal for the season is to not lose her confidence. And sometimes that's the one thing that happens with shooters, right, is they miss a few. And I think that happened to her a year ago where she started, her confidence was shaken a little bit, and we can't allow that to happen. So, as our staff and our coaches and even her teammates realize that we need her, and we need her to play freely, but also play with a tremendous amount of confidence. But she's looked great. She's looked great in practice, and I anticipated her having a great year for us, for a lot of different reasons, but she sure has been shooting the ball well.
Skip.
Good morning, Coach. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Two quick things. One, can you confirm a starting lineup for us? And then two, can you give us a little something about your experience with the national team over the summer?
You know what? We haven't even talked about a starting lineup, but and so I guess that'll be a game time decision tomorrow. But I think we can all not assume. We never want to assume, but we feel really good about those kids that returned. We only lost Grace Berger, and a year ago we had the dilemma or the conundrum of trying to figure out who we were going to bring off the bench between Sid Parrish and Sarah Scalia. So I think, Skip, the answer for that is pretty easy, with everybody that we have returning. And so it just makes sense to really rely on those experienced kids. The experience, again, with USA Basketball is one that I cherish. And it was a lot different than it was a year ago when we were with the 18s competition, being in Spain, playing Spain in the final game, probably over 10,000 passionate Spanish fans, Spaniards, I should say, in the building. And so not a lot of people in there for the United States, but Cody McMahon, we put her in a isolation on the wing, and she made the game-winning play to put us up, and then we just needed to get the stop to win it. So another really great experience with USA Basketball, which I'm very grateful and thankful that they think enough of me to ask me to keep coming back. And so really cool experience around some of the best players in the country in the United States. So very, very cool experience. And I think, again, it offers me an opportunity to scout and watch some of those international teams. So I feel like I improved also as a coach, having to do that in our preparation.
We'll go Seth and then Alex.
Teri, I have two things for you. One, I guess, kind of quickly, is everyone healthy going into the first exhibition and just the start of the season, health-wise? Where are you guys at? And then I wanted to ask you about Ali. Obviously, like when she kind of wrapped up her playing career here, you and a lot of people were kind of saying, oh, she'd make a great coach one day, and it'd be cool to kind of see her back on staff here at some point. Did you ever think it would be this quickly?
Your first question is, we are healthy. Knock on wood for that also. In a really good space, mentally, I think physically. Kevin has once again got these guys in the right framework, or from a mental standpoint. And then, of course, Ali is a natural. We knew it when we coached her, and it has not surprised me one bit how she has really embraced her role here on staff, and she's dove right in, just like she did as a player. Comes in every morning early, gets her workout in, and then dives into film. And so she's been a great resource for Lexi Bargesser, Chloe. She works with Lene Beaumont, and all of them. But those are the 3 or 4 that she really works with, our point guards. And so she's been tremendous. And she has a very bright future in this profession. But now, two things about Allie: she loves this game and she loves Indiana. So two really, really great things we have going for us.
Alex.
Teri, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. I'm curious what you can share just about the preseason, from what you've seen this preseason, from Lene and Juliana as freshmen coming in. Obviously, you got a pretty set rotation, but as the season moves along, I assume you want to develop depth so you don't wear down as the season goes along. Do you feel like those are two players that can help this season, and what have you seen from them so far?
No question. Both are very, very talented players, play with a lot of moxie, play with a lot of confidence as freshmen. I think one of the things I love about them, or a couple things I love about them, is they're so coachable. The other thing they have going for them is they're pleasers. They want to get everything right, which I appreciate. They're also very bright, so they pick up on things quickly, which is good from a coaching standpoint. I think there has been a learning curve for them, though. I think the pace that we play, the pace that we practice, the defensive side of the ball, which is always the biggest adjustment they have to make, and it's usually not on the ball as much as it's away from the ball, rotations, drops, and so forth. And so they have been so good, and they are in here. Just like the upperclassmen, the vets, in here every day outside of practice times, whether they're watching film with their position coach or whether they're down there just getting shots up and working on their game. And I love it because it's it's a cultural thing for us, because sooner or later those veterans are going to leave, and we still have to have the guys that get in the gym every day and do the work. And so they have jumped in with 2 feet. There's no question about that. So looking forward to watching them and watching them grow. I always have the best seat because I see the growth every day in practice. And then, once they get out to the floor, I anticipate some butterflies though on Wednesday. I'm not going to lie. We had a close scrimmage and they both looked a little nervous out there. And so, and that was without any fans. So I think it'll be really good on Wednesday for them to sort of get their feet wet and, see what it's like having bodies in the building that they can look forward to playing in front of. And so I think Wednesday is going to be a great moment for Bo and Jules and Charnice.
We'll go to Ari and then Zeke.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you're doing well and good luck with the season. I don't want you to speak too much for Yarden, but can you talk about if you've noticed any change in her game or mental state given the situation of Israel? From what I've heard, there have been some anti-Semitic and anti-Israel rhetoric on campus. I don't want you to speak too much to that part of it. I just want you to talk about noticed any change in practice or on the court in her mental state.
Yarden has handled herself like the pro that she is. I think this has been a practice, has been a kind of a place for her to kind of get away and kind of shut off her concerns right now. Not that it's ever leaves her, but I think it does give her something else she can focus on right now. Her parents are doing well. We are in constant communication with them. And we're checking on them, they're checking on her. And so I think Yarden feels very, very supported here by everybody, inside of our program, but also outside. She has been great. I think that we can, a year ago, I said that, she's so fun to coach because you can play her at so many different spots. She's so versatile. And she really worked on her game this summer, playing with her back to the basket a little bit more. Playing with, we've surrounded her with our scout guys that have been more physical with her back to the basket. She's very confident in her game, and I think that we're going to be able to use her. A year ago, maybe not so much with her back to the basket, just because of the physicality piece. She kind of reverted back to her international roots, which was the little fadeaway, which is still part of her package. But she's been way more physical in practice, and it's a good thing. I feel like when I hadn't seen her in a couple months, and I got to see her, and when she came over to Greece with us. She looked like she had gotten taller, but I think what she'd done is her shoulders have filled out quite a bit. So I think you guys will see a big change, or I think there'll be a little bit of a change. Either she grew but I think it's her shoulders. She worked really hard in the weight room while she was away from us with her trainer and Kevin. They were in correspondence in the couple months that she wasn't here. So she looks great, and she's doing well.
Zeke.
Hi, Coach. I hope all's going well. I just wanted to ask about what the motivation and what the intensity and competitiveness has been like in practice through this off season, and if that is going to play a big part in the rest of this season.
Yeah. Well, we have two things going for us, Zeke. One, we have competitive kids. So naturally, playing against each other, they're competitive, but then we have a great practice squad and a bunch of guys that have volunteered to come in and play against us every day. And so there's a lot of excitement in the gym. So they're a great group. They have a tremendous amount of energy. They love to compete against our kids, but they also understand why they're there to help us. And so all of them are great friends, great camaraderie. And so the competition in practice has been great. We've brought in officials a couple times, or we've just played our guy squad, and so it's been really good for us. But I've always wanted to make sure that when we build our team, that we're building, our pieces that come in are going to be competitive against one another. We realize that's the only way it's going to work. If we can go against each other, make each other better, our team ultimately becomes a better team. And so, this is as competitive of a group that I've ever had, in terms of their desire to get better and push each other to get better.
Talia and then Seth. So I talked to Mac a little bit about the main game, and she said that she got really emotional when she heard about it. I was just wondering what your conversation with her was like when you told her she'd get to play in her home state.
Talia, I think I was gone when we released that. So there was really no conversation that Mackenzie and I had, other than, one of the things we tried to do our best. We always don't pull it off, but in the recruiting process, when we're recruiting kids that are not from, close to here, like Mac, we tell them that we will do our best to try to get them back as close as we can to their home state, where their friends and family can come watch them. We tried to do that a year ago with Quinnipiac when we went out there and played them, and she had, I think, 3 bus loads of people that came over and watched her. But our desire was to get her a little bit closer, and that had a lot to do with Liz Honiger, who oversees our schedule. And so Liz and I went back and forth, and she as far as working on the date and how it played in our preseason conference slate. And so I think her whole family, mom, dad, Joan, stepmom, all of them are over the moon in terms of us bringing her back. I just got a text from Lenny yesterday, matter of fact, and he had his whole, I don't know if it's his office or room in their home is full of red Indiana women's basketball t-shirts that I think he's ready to give out before all those busloads of people come over and support us. So pretty cool. I'm happy that we can do it. I know she's super excited about, going home and playing in front of her fans and family and her friends. And so she's been very grateful, and gracious, in making sure that that I know how much she appreciates, and so does her family, that we're bringing her home.
We'll go Seth, and then last question from Matthew.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up a little bit about Ali. You talked about how much she loves the game, and I know one of the things that was really hard for her was, kind of making the decision to stop playing and make the transition over to coaching. Just, how did you kind of, help her through that? How did you, what was that like for her from your perspective?
Yeah, Seth, I don't want to speak for Ali, because I really think it was kind of an easy decision for her. She had the choice. She had a contract in front of her that was going to send her over, I think, to Spain, where she could play professionally. But this is when, I knew that I was going to have another spot. We were going to create another spot on our staff. And she was the first person that came to mind, like, because I knew she wanted to coach. I knew this is the profession that she wanted to be in. And so, it was a short conversation. I mean, this is your options. You can go over, it's a win-win. You can go over and continue to try to play and maybe come back and try to, stick on a WNBA team if you have, a good experience over there and you're playing well enough, and or you can start your coaching career right here at a place that you love. And and I knew she could help us. She is obviously beloved in our in this program, but not just Hoosier Nation, but also by some of her teammates. And so if anybody could have pulled it off in terms of the line that is drawn between being a student, a student athlete and being a coach, it was Ali Patberg. She's so professional on so many levels, but also she has the admiration and the respect of all those kids in that locker room downstairs. And so, that goes a long way, and you can, and it helps in recruiting. When recruits speak, you can have Ali speak to what it's like to, be a student athlete here academically, but also what it's like to be in our program and how we do things. And so, as I mentioned, she's going to be a rock star, but she's been very instrumental in what we've been able to do and some of the kids that we've been able to recruit.
Matthew.
Hey, Coach. Hope you've been well. You got some starters coming back. There's some freshmen also into the mix. I guess kind of from a coaching perspective, what are you looking to see on Wednesday?
Well, I hope that we get to see a lot of different combinations out on the floor together. I think it'll be, as I mentioned, that first game is always exciting moment for not just your returners. I mean, they get excited and they get a little bit, nervous might not be the right word for the Max and the Sid Parishes and the Chloes, but they get excited. There's a little bit of, on the edge of your seat for them. And then, as I mentioned, with Bo and Sharnice and Jules, I mean, it'll be the first time that there'll be bodies in Assembly Hall, which they have. Bo came over and watched us play several times last year. Jules has never seen what it's like to, have bodies inside the hall. Neither has Sharnice. And so I just think it'll be a great moment for all of us to get back on the floor and, play an opponent that's not that's not our practice guys. Our kids will look forward to it. There's no question. What I'd like to see is, always, and that's, some of the things that we've been trying to do in practice on the offensive side be executed. And then us be, stingy defensively like we've been. We're still a work in progress, I think, on the defensive side of the ball, especially because of those new kids. That's always the learning curve. That's always the hardest part, is being able to figure out where you're supposed to be in our rotations, where your drops are. And so Bo and Jules would be the first ones to tell you that that's been a major, learning opportunity for them. And so we'll see. But I think it'll be good for us to get on the floor with the lights on, bodies in there. I think it'll be good for a lot of reasons.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
All right. I see Ali on here. So Ali, if you're ready, you can turn on your camera. There she is. All right. Go ahead. Do the same thing. Raise your hand feature for questions for Ali Patberg. Lou, why don't you go ahead?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Ali, when you first got drafted by the WNBA, what were your first thoughts? And then quickly, it seemed very suddenly and very quickly, they cut you. And I wondered if you felt you didn't get a good chance to show what you could do and how you reacted to that in the moment.
Yeah, so obviously when I, got drafted, I was just super, super excited. I wouldn't say it was a shock, but almost a shock, just because my entire playing career at IU, I was never focused on thinking or really locking in on I want to be, a WNBA player. I want to get drafted. And so, season ended really quick for us, quicker than we had wanted. And then, it was right around the corner. And I knew I had, opportunities to play professionally. And I love the game so much. And so, when the draft was that night, I went over with Alexa, my teammate, and just kind of watching, honestly, not expecting really anything. And so when I got drafted and by Indiana, it was just awesome. And it was more awesome for me, not for myself, but for our program, for all the times, how hard we worked, me and Coach Box, on the floor in terms of developing my game, Coach Moren, Coach Rhett, all the coaches that poured so much into my game to help our team win. It was just awesome for me to right there in that moment, just thank them for all they had done for me. And it was more, I was excited for our program and excited for the opportunity to go to training camp and see what that's like. And I wasn't there very long, but it is what it is, and I'm so thankful for the experience. I'm thankful that the GM Lynn Dunn gave me an opportunity, and it wasn't more so for me, but for everyone, that are big Indiana fans and grew up knowing, me as a high school player, and to see that they could do that one day. And I'm just thankful I got that opportunity to see that and to be there.
Alex, and then Skip.
Ali, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
of
curious,
course. Thank you.
It's not been long since you were a newcomer in college basketball, and there's some fresh faces, some new players on this team. I'm curious, just from a player's perspective, somebody that's been through it, what are the biggest adjustments that a young player has coming into college basketball, and what are you trying to do with some of the younger guards maybe to try to help work them through? Obviously, it's probably not the easiest adjustment. You're in a new place, living in a new city and all that. So I'm just curious how you're trying to help the young players and what the biggest adjustments are for those girls.
Yeah, I love being in this position, I have this opportunity to help, Jules, Lene, even, all of our players, but especially the young ones, and even more so the guards. It's a lot. It's a lot thrown at you really, really fast. And I truly believe the biggest adjustment is just the pace that we play at. It's another level. And so, being able to work with our guards on a daily basis and really push them in the summer, and so that they're more prepared for the season when it comes. That's been awesome, and it's paying off. And I think defensively, it's a huge adjustment. We're a very smart team, and we're disciplined defensively, and we do a lot of things that they've never seen. And so for me, I think, you can do all you want on the court, but I think a big, thing that we've done is we've watched a lot of film individually, with our guards, with Lene, with Jules, just so that they see it on the floor and then they see it on film. And I think the biggest thing for me, I try to really communicate to the freshmen that you have to give yourself grace. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to make a lot of them. But just do your best not to make the same mistake over and over. Make the mistake and then we'll fix it. And then when they do, the right things, just really pouring into them, making sure they're hearing it. Because, we tend to get on them a lot because they don't know what they don't know. And, it's all new to them. And so when they do a great job, we're their biggest cheerleader. And just staying in their ear about being confident and believing in themselves and that they belong here.
Skip, and then Talia.
Hey, Ellie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Alexandra told me to say hi, so
I said hello.
I will. Have you spoken with Kiana recently, and how does it feel that to know that you're both going through this assistant coach stage at the same time?
Yeah, we talk a lot. We had talked after both of our first scrimmages, and just, it's the same thing, you're new to what you're doing, and you're learning as you're growing. And so just continuing to stay in each other's ears about, that to have confidence, to continue to work hard. We've thrown ideas off of each other in terms of drills, and no, it's been a blessing to have her going through the same thing that I'm going through. And she's, always the first to make a joke, to laugh. And sometimes you need that. And so, yeah, I mean, our bond is super tight, obviously, and that won't ever change, but this is only, allowing us to be even closer, just going through another challenge. I wouldn't say challenge. Yes, it is a challenge, but just the newness of the role and what we're doing. It's been awesome to have her.
Talia.
Hey, Ali, what's it been like continuing to have this front seat to seeing women's basketball nationally and here at IU just reach new levels and new heights?
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. I'm 2 years, about to be in my second year, not obviously playing on the court, and just seeing in the past year how much growth the game has had has been really, really cool. And just all of the investments being made by other people outside of the sport, whether it's, social media, they're, putting us out there more. It's just been really cool to see people taking steps to help grow the game. And it's just cool too. I believe that the game has been this great, but now again, people are having more access to it. They're able to see it more. And again, I think, the game is getting better. Everyone's getting better. We're growing. I feel like obviously the more people love the game, there's going to be more coaches, which pushes people to be better coaches. And so it's only going to continue to grow. And I'm just excited that I'm a small part of it.
Matthew, go ahead.
Hi, Ali. Thanks for the time. You've been a coach on the staff for quite some time, a little bit of time, and then Amber Smith joined the staff. What's it kind of been like to kind of have this coaching journey aside her? Kind of saw recently that video where she was really high energy in practice.
Yeah. Amber's awesome. It's been a blessing to have her on staff, just because, like you said, she brings a lot of energy. She brings a lot of joy. And again, she's new to the program. I've been here for a while, but new to the obviously role that I'm in. And just to kind of be there for one another, and to, show her certain things that, I know because I've been here for 7-8 years. And so I know the ins and outs of our programs, but not necessarily, from a coaching, being on the floor standpoint, that she has obviously a lot more experience than me. And so we've been able to help each other, and, in those both ways. But she's been awesome, and she's going to only help us, and only has been helping us be better every day.
Then we have one last question from Lou. Lou, you can go ahead.
Ali, it sounds like from what Coach was saying, and I didn't know this before, you had the opportunity to continue playing in Spain right after the fever experience. And what made you make the choice to stay home and start coaching at a young age when you clearly could play for several more years and then start coaching?
Honestly, my experience in the WA ended a lot shorter than I wanted to. And then I knew if I ever wanted to play in the WNBA, I was going to have to play overseas and do well. And all of me, I didn't want to have to be away from my family, my friends for 8 months out of the year, to play, not knowing, if I'd even get a chance. And again, part of me was like, well, I want to try just to know that I did it. But then it was like, but life's too short. I don't want to spend the majority of my life away from everybody I love. And, I knew I was going to love coaching because I love the game so much, but I love pouring into people even more. And so, you know, again, it was a hard decision in the moment, but it wasn't at the same time, just because I knew I was going to be around the people I really love and the school I love, and doing what I know is going to be what I knew was going to be a dream job for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything else for Ali Lou?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ali, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.